She trained to argue other people's cases, called to the bar in New York. But the fight she's chosen isn't in a courtroom. It's on football pitches across Ghana. No blueprint, no shortcuts, just an idea and the determination to build it. She built Ridge City from the ground up. Then Everton FC came calling. But ask her what she's really building, and she'll tell you this. Ghana doesn't have a talent problem. It has a systems problem. This is Cleopatra Nsiah Nketiah. Thank you so much for joining us, Cleopatra, at Voices of a Continent.
Yes.
I'm really excited and I'm smiling because we are both wearing attires that are very, very special to us. Now, we need to keep this episode very friendly.
Yes.
Okay, we've got serious things to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can only smile because I'm imagining you in something else, but yeah.
This suits me just fine.
Yeah.
And I'll be wearing this for the next 12 months. Yes.
No.
So you're just going to have to suck it up,
Yes.
I'm afraid. But for everything that you've kind of built with regards to like your law background, how did football come into it?
Yes. So it's more like how the law come into my football background.
Really?
Yeah. So the one thing that I always wanted to be, if we're talking about fantasies, when I was a child, I wanted to be so many things. I wanted to be a musician. I wanted to be an actress. I wanted to be a model. It tells you the background that I'm coming from. My parents allowed me to dream and dream big. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah. So I was able to think about everything that I wanted to be. But one of the things that I really wanted to do was football. And when I was growing up, when people saw football, I think they saw a picture next to me when I was a kid. So I did a lot of awesome things in football when I was younger.
Okay.
And because we didn't have like that culture where sports was a big thing in Ghana and where women in football was a big thing in Ghana, every little thing I did in sports was like,
just
she
a
scored
huge
a goal.
thing.
Like, I really felt like I was the biggest thing in Ghana when I was growing up, honestly. Because I just kick a ball and people are like screaming and shouting and stuff.
She can dribble.
Yeah. So actually, when I finished uni, I left to the UK to continue. I went to do psychology. I was doing psychology in Ghana, and I went to do law in the UK. So when I got to the UK, I was like, well, I am the biggest thing from Ghana, so why not get into football, because UK is the land of football.
Okay.
And then that's when reality set in, that I'm just the biggest thing probably in Accra, in my neighborhood.
Local
or
champion.
Something. Yeah, I'm a local champion. Nowhere near Champions League status, as some of you would know. But yeah, I had to slide that dig in.
Of course, I'm going to be hearing it. Go on, it's all good.
Yeah, so I realized that there was something, it was like a different ball game, literally. It was different. Everything was bigger. Everything was more organized. And there was a very long way for me to go if I wanted to make a mark in football. So I did play and I did do some stuff in football, but it wasn't as much as I thought I was going to do when I went to the UK.
Okay.
So I just focused on law and getting called to the bar or doing whatever I need to be qualified to practice law in the UK. And then when I did that runabout and I went to the States and I came to Ghana, whilst I was waiting in Ghana, I was like, you know what? Why not do this thing more? And I think it's probably kismic or whatever I call it, with the World Cup happening now, because the thing that really gingered me to take football seriously was back in 2012, when they were having the London Olympics, the women's team, the UK and the other countries were playing, and I watched a few of the games. I was like, you know what? If women are doing it, if women are still doing it, if women can do it, if girls can do this, why am I sitting here going like, this is so difficult? I'm watching these women and the only thing that they are doing different from me is that they've actually gone ahead and done it. So why not? So that's when I took football really seriously during the London Olympics.
Okay.
And when I came to Ghana and I realized I didn't have access to that kind of, there's this thing when you're in the UK, there are parks all over the place.
Right.
There's opportunities, there's all of that. And when I saw it wasn't the same in Ghana, I was like, why can't I continue to feel the same way in Ghana? So then I decided to just set up a women's football team.
My goodness. On your own, or did you go ahead? Did you have a partner that was supporting?
Yeah, so with lawyer, everything that I'm doing, I have to investigate and find out what's happening. So I realized that I couldn't do this alone. So I actually had a partner when I started this whole project. He's called Cyril. He's into the music industry. He's still on the airwaves, if you say. Cyril Alex Cockle, he's still out there. Yeah, I think people may know him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I started this whole thing with Cyril, and Cyril really supported everything from the beginning. The support she needed, the financial aspects, the helping to be louder Because when you're a woman and you want to get into anything football, you're like, oh, okay. They think you're joking. They think you're just dipping your feet and stuff like that. So it was great to have a partner who not only believed in me, but also believed in what we were doing.
Okay.
And it helped to jumpstart and kickstart and push everything forward. So I'm really happy about everything and how everything happened. And yeah, everything just came together the way it came together. And at the time it did. And I don't think that I'll change anything different about that time. So.
Interesting, because during that time it was 2018, right?
Yes.
And so the vision that you had for the club then, Ridge City Football Club,
Yeah.
we're now in 2026. With regards to that, the vision of the football team, I mean,
Yeah.
you own it. So has that changed a lot? Has it changed quite dramatically since then? Because you're 8 years in now, right?
Yes. It's changed so much. Listen, one of the reasons why I seriously got into football was because, like I said, I've always been made to feel like I'm the biggest thing in football in Ghana. So, and it was a good thing, because what that has done for me is that it's told me that I have to keep pushing.
Yeah.
I actually started supporting Chelsea, which is the club that I support. Which I have no other reason.
What happened to you?
I don't know why people don't see that Chelsea is the biggest thing.
Lord,
we are currently
mercy.
the Club World Cup champions.
With the last 12 months that you people are having, you guys aren't actually...
Well, this is what happens when you are champions of the world. It takes a toll, and you have to let other people feel like they stand a chance. So
listen, we've deserved...
We will be back next season.
Okay, we're not going to... Let's continue with the interview. Please continue.
So back in 2006, I started supporting Chelsea.
Oh, God.
And my goal of being in football was to wow, if you can have people to love a team and support a team like the way I support Chelsea, then you are creating a whole new different world. But that's for men. Can we do the same for women?
Right.
So one of the things that I was thinking about when I started the club was making the club something as big as Chelsea. There wasn't really a direction to it.
I think the Arsenal women's football team have...
now they are also picking up and seeing how best they can...
Picking up.
Step out of the grey shadow of the men.
Picking up. Arsenal women's.
Yes.
Continue, please, Cleo.
I mean, Chelsea women are the 7-time champions, and...
Cleo, please continue.
Yes, so... When I thought about what I could do in the space for women's football, I was really thinking about how I could replicate what was happening in the men's space. But you were asking how it has changed from then till now. Yeah. I've realized that the men's space is the men's space. There's no need trying to replicate it. There's no need trying to do the same thing that the men are doing. It's about doing what is best for the women and for the women in that space now. And for me, it has changed from, wow, we want to be the biggest club in Ghana and go wherever it is, let everybody see we're the biggest club, to just growing and building the team in the best way that we can. Of course, we want to win leagues, we want to win cups, we want to go international, we want to be big and all of that. But there's more in it and there's more to it than just winning.
Winning, yeah.
Yeah, so what we are doing now is we are trying to not just create a team that wins, but we're trying to create the next generation as well.
Indeed.
So what happens is that Ridge City, we just turned 7 years old. We're turning 8 this year. The team has been built around the first team for a very long time, but now we're trying to build a team in different stages. Okay. So of course, we'll still have the first team, the main team that represents the club outside, playing games, playing matches in the division, whatever it is. And then we have what we call the development team. So those are the girls that are players for the near future. So those girls are between the ages of 12.
So it's like an academy.
19. Yeah, so we have the academy as well.
Okay.
So the development stage are the girls that are almost there, but they aren't there. Okay. And then the academy are those who are now trying to learn. So we have it in 3 stages. And one of the reasons why that happened was that if I tell a little bit about Ridge City's background. So when the club was formed, and was formed because we want to be the best thing ever. We put together the best group of girls that we could. And then we started the first season. And unfortunately, in the middle of the first season, COVID hit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the season was cut short. And then in our second season, we were able to go fully. So we won the league. And then we got promotion to the Women's Premier League. And we're like, yeah, we've arrived. This is the time. Right. And then we got relegated. So I realized that the proper structures weren't in place. We just came in onto the scene. We put together a great group of girls. Right. Then we went winning and we thought that was it.
Right.
And then when we got relegated, I realized that there were so many gaps because what happened to us that season was that it's what's happening to Chelsea now. Our players were
you people
so
have gaps.
exhausted from
Yes,
winning.
yes.
We kept winning so much that the players were exhausted. And then when we went to the Premier League, injuries, illnesses, the girls just weren't up to it. And we didn't have replacements because we didn't have the development team.
Okay.
We didn't have the academy.
To actually just
Exactly. We just didn't have the foundation. So I was actually happy about our relegation. And that was
forced you to really look at
exactly why we are doing this, who we are doing this with. That was 3 years ago. And now we are super organized. Our season just ended and we lost the league by just 1 point.
You're kidding.
Yeah, because on the final day, we drew our game. And that was really sad. Everybody was super disappointed because that would have been a chance to go back to the Premier League. But I mean, for me, I'm not disappointed in that because of what we are building now.
Of course.
It would have probably been a distraction going to the Premier League and just going to focus back again on winning.
Right.
But like I said, our focus now is on the growth and development of the team.
Right.
But we did win the FA Cup though, so that was good. I have the trophies, can share it.
Oh yes,
stuff like that. Yeah.
I'd like to see that. Seeing is believing.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So something that you're now familiarizing yourself with. But,
my friend, please.
Yeah.
If you go to our cabinet, there are trophies
cobwebs
there.
that you're cleaning out.
Look at you. Please continue with your interview.
No problem.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's one thing that we're trying to do. And the club we're not just trying to do this locally as well. We're trying to do this internationally. So we have formed partnerships with clubs all over the world.
Yes.
Most of them are at the beginning stages. But for me, I think that that's something that is very important because one of the things that I'm sure maybe someone along the line will talk about is commercializing the space or doing something about women's football.
Right,
not
indeed.
seeing it as a charity. And I can talk about that when we get to that stage. But what I'm trying to do is position the club in such a way that we're not always looking for handouts. We're not always begging. We're not always looking at us like,
it's actually
woe is
an
me.
investment.
Exactly. So we're trying to put ourselves in that position where the girls that we have now are not our now and our future, but are just girls that we can support now to maybe fulfill their dreams and then keep the pipeline going.
So to be honest, when you talk about your football club, even though like at the hard times or the times that were disappointing, you saw it as an opportunity to really fill in the potholes.
Yeah.
But was that the hardest time within the football club within its last 7.5, 8 years? Was that the most toughest time for you with regards to building the team from scratch again?
Yeah. So for me, one of the things that I love doing is building. So I am a founding partner of a law firm. I am also a founding owner of an adoption agency. I'm also a founding director of a company secretary business.
Oh, where do you find the time?
I know. I just don't know how I do all of this, but here I am also founding a football club.
Yes.
So the difficult parts for me is what I wake up to do. So somebody would say it's difficult, but for me, I'd say it's normal. I think if I woke up and there weren't problems or there weren't issues and stuff, I'd feel like there was something wrong.
Okay, so you thrive on...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. In case I want to say
challenges.
chaos or something. Yeah.
Challenges.
Yes. Yeah. So it's always like something has gone wrong. Okay, an opportunity to fix something. Because I feel like every time we fix something, it's growth. So for me, the beginning stages, finding the finances, putting together the team, the difficulties, winning the league, relegation, building again, developing the development team, the academy team, it all feels like it's what needs to be done.
Okay.
So it doesn't feel like a challenge to me, but it is difficult because you keep trying to put a block on top of another block, and then if the wind doesn't blow it, then people are pushing it. And it's like, at what point in time are we going to finish building this? Okay. So for me, that would be the challenge as to how quickly the structures we are putting in place are being put up and what the environment is doing to support it, the regulatory environment, the human environment, all of that.
That's it.
Yeah.
What are GFA, other regulatory bodies, what are they doing to support female footballers in the country and teams?
Yes. So one of the various hats that I wore, I'd say wore now because I'm not wearing them anymore, is I was part of the GFA. So I had a lot of...
Football Association.
Yes, the Ghana Football Association. I had a lot of hats on there, so I'm going to go through all of them if we have time for that. So basically, when you look at the GFA has a sub association in it. So you have the Ghana Football Authority or Association, and then you have underneath it the Regional Football Association. So we call those the RFAs. So the RFAs are responsible for the Division 2, for the men, the Division 2 and all the lower leagues.
Okay.
As well as women's Division 1 and 2 and all the lower leagues. And then the GFA is responsible for the men's Premier League, the women's Premier League, and the men's Division 1. So they sit at the top.
So why aren't they handling the women's League One?
Yeah, so because of how many structures and tentacles and all of that, they leave that to the Regional Football Association. So the GFA sits at the top and manages the top leagues. And then they've given the authority for the management of the lower leagues to the Regional Football Associations.
Okay.
So what happens is that every region is responsible for football in that region.
Okay.
So we sit in the Greater Accra Regional Football Association. So I was on both the boards for GFA and in the RFA.
Okay.
So for RFA, I was the head of women's football for Greater Accra region. I was the Women's Division 1 League chairperson. So I was responsible for Women's Division 1 League in Greater Accra.
Wow.
And then in between that, I was as part of the representatives I was a regional representative for women's football development for Greater Accra. So not only was I responsible for development of women's football, I was also in charge of running women's football and the Women's Football League.
Right.
And then at the GFA level, I was on the board for women and men's Premier League. Yes. So for me, I should have a great idea of football in Ghana and women's football in Ghana. Yes. But one of the reasons why I resigned is because I don't really have that angle. I don't really have it. So
what do you mean you don't have that angle?
Yes. So when you are in the GFA, you would think that, and no dig at GFA, no slight at anybody at GFA.
Talk, please.
So you would think that it would be easy to have access to information, to know what's going on, to know what you're doing. But it's not like that. It's very difficult because we don't have the foundations and the structure for information and the human capital to even gather that or be in it. So for me, it felt like most of the things that I was doing was just box ticking.
Oh, wow. There's a quota that you're fulfilling.
Exactly.
And they've done that.
Yes. So we are ticking the box for women's football. You are ticking the box for having a head of women's football being a woman.
But it's not really substantive.
Exactly. And it's not something that with how I build things was working for me. So I'm building a lot of things. It's exciting to know what we are doing, looking for money to finance it, actually financing it, getting the levels. It was great to go through that. But at the GFA, I was always stuck because there was always someone higher than me.
Of course.
And there was always authority to get. And there was always a challenge of getting anything that you needed. And we didn't have enough people on the committee to support. So for example, for the Greater Accra RFA, I was a chairperson and I had a vice chairperson and I had nobody else. So there was nobody else in the committee. So literally nobody else on the committee. So it wasn't like there were other members
that could lobby and to...
There was nothing there. It was just like, run the women's football in Ghana. It's just you and the vice president.
Lord.
Yeah. And it's not because they couldn't, they didn't appoint people. It's because nobody's interested. Football and women's football is not presented to be attractive at all in Ghana.
Right.
Yeah. So we just couldn't find people who were interested enough to participate in it. And I know there's always the conversation about monies being paid and people making money from football and stuff, but show me where so I can go there too. Because in women's football and in the region, there's just no access to that kind of funding. And it was very difficult. And I wouldn't say that I left or abandoned or I ran off. I just feel like my time was better spent developing my club and growing my club, because I feel like at the RFA and generally in women's football, it just doesn't feel like we were getting the access to the funding and access to opportunities for funding.
Is there funding?
For me, it's crazy, but every time I talk about this, I am somebody who has been a part or was a part of the GFA for at least 5 to 6 years.
Okay.
And I cannot answer that question for you. I just didn't feel the transparency for that aspect of football.
Okay.
You get into football and you're part of the GFA and you think that you'd have access to certain information. And I really don't know the answer to why we don't have it. And I would say that it's probably because it's just that that information or that access just wasn't there. And we got used to it. You get, when you're in football in Greater Accra region, you just get used to the fact that it's just not there. It's just not happening. You won't get it. You won't see it.
Right.
And then you function because what are you going to do? Not play football?
Yeah.
So we just focus
Which is
on
your passion.
Exactly. I didn't come in here for money. I didn't come in here for position. I just want to do football, and it feels like being a part of the GFA would make things easier and quicker and all of that. But it just wasn't happening that way. So for me, one of the things that I decided to do is just focus on my club and just see how best I can help my club, because I found myself in a position where every time I had the opportunity to something, I didn't get that opportunity because I was part of the GFA. I got that opportunity because I had a women's football club.
Interesting.
And then
so it was that rather opened doors.
Exactly. And I found myself in a position where, do I do this for all women's football clubs in Greater Accra region, or do I do this for my club? Because the same problem that I had was the same problem that every football club in the Greater Accra region was having, and in Ghana generally was having: funding, access to better players, structures, foundation, the tools, the knowledge, everything.
Right.
And I'd get access to it, and it was always like, why am I not getting it from the GFA angle, but I can get it from my club? And every time I wanted to take it from the GFA angle, there's a lot of bureaucracy and there's a lot of things that you have to do. And the people that are trying to support, is the support for women's football was so low that to take it to the GFA or to the women's league is minimizing or diminishing anybody's anything that anybody could get out of it. Okay. So for example, if somebody wanted to sponsor my club for maybe even 10,000 CDs, taking it to the women's league, that's nothing, because there are about 20 clubs. How are you going to share 10,000 CDs? It won't make
much of an impact.
Exactly. So it was always a conflict. And the funny thing is that in football in Ghana, if you don't have a conflict of interest, you have no place in football in Ghana. That's the crazy thing.
Wow.
Yeah. Because everybody in football has a hand in something in football.
Right.
And I get it because it's an association, and the association is for people who are in that space.
Right.
So why should we open the door for somebody who's not in the space to come and be part of this? Yeah.
Got it.
So I get it. But you cannot have a conflict of interest and not be in football, or you cannot be in football and not have a conflict of interest. So it becomes about thinking about what is best for you, or what is best for whoever you're representing. And for me, I just felt like I wasn't giving my best to the league because of the situation, the circumstances that was happening.
The GFA.
Yeah. So I feel like what the best thing for me to do right now is focus on building the team, focus on building the club. And when that model is successful, it can be replicated across everything.
Well, clearly you're successful with Ridge, because I'd like you to expand a little bit on your partnership with Everton Football Club. And what did that partnership help you to learn about, and how you also build the club for yourself?
Yes. So it was a very exciting partnership that we had with Everton. They approached the club.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. Everything that we're doing. We're posting about everything that we're doing. And that's one of the things that most clubs in Ghana don't do. Letting people see that they are there and what they are doing about it. On our pages, everything that we're doing, we pretty much posted. So we're identified by Everton FC as one of the clubs that they wanted to work with in Ghana. So they were rolling out a new program where they reach out to clubs all over the world and just try to get them to be affiliated with the club. So we were the first club in Africa and the only women's football club in their entire program.
You're kidding.
Yeah, we were working with them.
Okay, so they weren't looking specifically for women's football club. This was like a general...
Exactly. It's an international thing, yeah.
That's
so we were the first women's club and the first club in Africa.
Fantastic. Men
and women. Yeah. Unfortunately for us, that partnership happened at a time when Everton were going through their relegation battles. So the partnership was for 2 years. And in the entire 2 years that we were in partnership with Everton, they were like 17th. And one of the seasons was, I don't even remember, but the last game of the season, and Frank Lampard, they won the game and they all went onto the pitch. And I was like, So at that point in time, they were really going through some struggles there.
Right.
And so it kind of reflected in the partnership, because what we were hoping to get out of the partnership, we weren't able to get it.
Okay.
Because some of the things that were involved were them coming to Ghana, us going to the UK, knowledge sharing, marketing activities and stuff like that.
Got it.
And I didn't blame them at all. There was a lot going on there. And in addition to the footballing stuff, the club was also going through a change of ownership.
Yeah.
So there's a lot happening there, and the partnership was supposed to be exclusive. So even if, God forbid, I wanted to get into a partnership with Arsenal at that time.
God forbid. The way your team will just be catapulted, eh?
I couldn't do that at that time because it was an exclusive partnership with Everton.
Okay.
So when the partnership came to an end last year, I chose for us not to renew it because I wanted us to expand and then just go beyond that. And what has happened that time is that, yes, that's what we've been able to do. We've been able to talk to other clubs.
I was going to ask you what has transpired since then.
Yeah, so we're talking to other clubs, we're talking to other management teams and stuff like that, and we've gotten a good relationship internationally.
Okay.
And for me, what that does is that it opens the door for the players, the coaches, and the management of Rich City to expand their growth and to expand themselves. Because what's going to happen very soon is that if you're affiliated with Rich City, you have the pipeline, you have the access, you have the window and the door to the outside world. And anything that you'd want to do in football, it will be easier for you to get into it. So not just the playing of football. So at Rich City, some of our coaches are former players. Some of our management members, like our team manager, we've had former players take that role.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we support football from top to bottom. So it's not that I want to play football alone. Some people get into football because they think they want to play.
Okay.
But really, it's not that they want to play. They just want to be in the football space.
Okay.
But you don't get enough information about football to know that you don't have to be a footballer to be in football. You can manage the team. You can own a team. You can be a physio. You can be part of those who make the kit. Our kit was made by Maniac. They are one of the big sports brands in Ghana. Yeah. You can do all sorts of things. Anything in the business world that you can do the same thing in football. Football has its own ecosystem, and we aren't trained to understand that ecosystem. So people think that the only thing I can do in football is play.
Right.
So everybody just gets into football and they try to play.
Right.
And for me, I think it's fun because I'm one of those people now in my life because I'm playing because I'm enjoying it, not because I'm trying to go pro. And the other people who...
What position do you play?
I'm a striker.
Oh, okay.
I bang in the goals.
Oh, right.
I was Havertz until he joined your team.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So I do that a lot. And we still play every Monday. We meet up and we play.
Nice.
People in my shoes, people who can't go pro, but in their minds, they are all pro and stuff like that. We meet on Mondays and then we play at Joe AstroTurf. But the professional team is there to support us. So for me, I find it funny when people like me are around the professional players because they are going around us in circles and they are nutmegging us. And then we are running around like, you can't do that. Tackling people and scoring offside goals and stuff like that.
Lord.
So I do that for fun now. But I feel like people get into that space thinking that the only way they can be in football is if they play.
Right.
But for me, I do a lot of
ecosystem.
Exactly. Tell them that there's a big ecosystem. Just get involved in it.
I must say, but when I do watch the game, and especially with women's games as well, the camaraderie, like the sense of belonging, that team, it is quite infectious.
Yeah.
You know, so I can imagine that initially when you see that on TV or you go to a game or something like that, and they think, okay, they want to play football.
Yeah.
I can imagine just the energy of just being on the pitch and, you know, it's quite electrifying as well. And it's great to see women. It's just great to see women.
Yeah. I'll tell you something that it's shocking to me every time I think about, but there are more males who support women's football than females who support women's football.
Why do you think that is?
I want to say it's because women don't really like sports, but I don't want to say that because I know a lot of women who love sports and will get into sports if they're given the opportunity.
Okay.
And it's changing out of in the first world countries and stuff.
Yes.
It's changing.
Yeah.
But for Africa and Ghana especially, if you see 10 people watching women's football, 8 of them are men or male. So I'm trying to figure out why that is the case. But what I know is that you get into football and you would think that because you're a woman, anybody's going to support you will be a woman. But then the girls are playing and they're out there and you look in the stands and it's just men. And I feel like it's also because men love football and some of them are intrigued by the fact that, a woman is playing football. Girls can actually play football.
Or they want to actually see like her skills.
Exactly. So they come looking. And it's a genuine interest and they stay and then they support. So a lot of the fans of Rich City are people that showed up at our games and just wanted to be a part of what was happening and seeing it. And a lot of them are men. So one of the things that we have to do is try to get the women into this space. And I can tell a little bit about that. Something that I realized or I noticed, and even if you look at what the GFA's current motto is, bring back the love, is that it's things that we're talking about. People do not love football as much as they did back in the day.
True.
And it feels like there's something missing, there's something lost. And one of the solutions to that is making football a family
Accessible
sport.
for everybody.
Yeah. When you go to the UK, other countries and stuff, when you attend women's football, the key demographic there are women and children.
And their families.
Exactly.
So true.
Yeah. But in Ghana, it feels like you have to be a kubolo, or you don't have anything to do, or it's your friend, or you just found yourself
it's like
in
you're
that space.
dragging people out.
Exactly. And that's what happens in Ghana. And I think that if we can change the narrative and then make it into a family sport, make it into something that it's a fun time for you to do on a Saturday afternoon with your family, I think that we get more people or more women in the game.
Right.
And the support is needed to back up the talent that is in Ghana. It's not that we don't have talent in Ghana. It's not that people don't love sports. It's not that women don't know how to play football. It's just that the support isn't there. And trust me, I think that if we're able to galvanize the support, you see a different narrative concerning women's football in Ghana. Yeah.
So with regards to that, are there any players that you can, or just one player that you've really admired her journey? And that reminds you like, okay, this is why I do this.
There are a few of them, but I'll talk about this one player that's currently in America right now. So when she came to Rich City, she couldn't kick a ball. Okay.
And she wanted to play football.
Yes.
Wow.
We have a lot of girls like this. So as I was saying, I was putting them in the category that I am in now. People who in their mind, they think that they are Messi, they're Ronaldo, they are there. But then you get onto the pitch and you can't kick a ball. What are you doing here? But then that is not what we are doing. We are here to open the door to bring everybody in.
Nurture.
That's why we have the various levels, the academy. If you can't kick a ball, come on in. If you can kick a ball but you need help, come on in. If you can kick a ball and score the goals and be a superstar, we are looking for you. Come on in. So that's what we are doing. So when she came, she just couldn't kick a ball. She didn't even know what position to play in. She just wanted to be in football. And within 2 years, she was the best player in the team, and she got a scholarship, and she's in the States right now. She's called Mavis, and she's in the States right now, and she's playing college football.
Wow. We're just on the cusp of the World Cup season. So we've seen the opening game, Mexico and South Africa.
Yeah.
What do you think our prospects are with regards to the Black Stars bringing back some trophy?
Yeah.
Is it possible?
Short answer, no.
Okay.
Long answer, I wish. But realistic answer, we could do it. Not this World Cup, obviously.
Right.
But what I think is missing for the men is the same thing that is kind of missing for the women. So what it is that show me a country that won the World Cup by accident, and I'll tell you when Ghana will win the World Cup.
Ooh.
Yeah. We aren't planning, but we want to win the World Cup.
We always want to win.
We always want to win everything. We want to win AFCON. We want to win everything. But we're not putting, exactly, the structures aren't in place. So I'm sure people argue what I'm saying. Oh, the structures are in place. Oh, we are doing the U14 thing. We are doing the U15 men's thing. We are playing this competition here and there. But in women's football, if you look at the pyramid now, they are creating leagues for U15. They are creating the leagues for U17. We have the Women's Division 1. We have the Women's Premier League. How do you expect the clubs to participate in these competitions when you aren't helping them to create teams to play in those competitions? All that we see are competitions here and there. Every day there's a competition here, there's a competition there. But the people in charge aren't putting in place the structures that the people like me need. So I want to play football. Don't give me anything, but I can put together a group of girls to come and play football. Where are the pitches?
Right.
Where is the support? Where is whoever it is saying, oh, hey, I've seen what you're doing. It's really great. Here's 10,000 cedis.
Right. Sponsorship.
You know what? We are going to tell all the football pitches in Jolu that when women are playing, let us know. We'll subsidize the cost. You know what? We'll talk to all the GPRTUs or whatever it is that when women are playing, transport them to their parks for free. There's no support like that there.
That
but you've
infrastructure
created a league for us to come and play. How are we supposed to get there? So the arguments can be made about how, oh, we are supporting women's football. We are doing it. There's a competition here. There's that.
But there's no infrastructure.
Exactly. I have to go out there, find those players myself, support them to come and play in the team, support them throughout the whole team. And then somebody else is taking credit somewhere that we've created leagues and we are helping women's football in Ghana.
Just to pause there. How much, you don't have to say exactly how much, but how much are you putting in your own money? Because clearly you're pouring a lot of finances.
Yeah. So Race City is fully funded by me and me alone.
Oh my goodness.
So what we do is that obviously all the time we are going out there and looking for funds, begging businesses to support. Nobody ever does. I've probably been to almost every business in Accra. And the problem is that people just don't care enough about women's football to put their money where their mouth is.
Okay.
They will only support your team if whatever you're doing aligns with what they are doing.
Okay.
And don't get me wrong, I think everybody has to do what is good for them. If you don't support my club, you don't support my team, you don't support women's football, and you're not interested in that, I can't knock you down. I can't say, fair enough, because I'm also not here supporting rugby or supporting golf or something.
Because that's just not your thing.
Exactly. So you don't expect me to feel bad for not doing that. So I understand everybody who is in that position and doesn't give the help that they can. But the difference between them and the regulatory bodies, that is their job to support and put in the structures and help that grow. So if you want to talk about us winning the World Cup or having chances, you cannot pretend that you're putting in place the structures and then doing the bare minimum. When in some other countries, they are literally forcing children to play football.
True, from this age.
Yes, they are putting pitches in your face. They are paying you to be a part. They are scouring the whole world looking for players that belong to them to come back home to help build. And we just wait for when our players have developed and have grown and are in other countries, and then go and beg them to come back and then come and play for a system that never supported them at any angle.
And I've been hearing that argument of late anyway with the Black Star players anyway, like, oh, how come this player has decided not to play for Ghana, but they're playing for England? And, but the thing is that Ghana was never really part of their they weren't really sitting in that infrastructure in the first place.
Exactly. But then when you need help, you're calling me to come and help you, kind of thing. And the energy that we are spending on begging people to come, how about we spend that energy on
those that are
here?
Right.
And it's been happening in women's football lately, and for me, I'm not happy about it at all, because what's happening is that there's a lot of talent in Ghana. There are over 30 women's football clubs in Greater Accra region alone. And if you count the 10 or 16 regions or whatever number we are giving to it, there are at least 10 clubs in every region, because every region plays a Division 1 league.
Wow.
So there's a minimum of 200 women's football clubs in Ghana. And you are saying that we cannot help and develop them, but now we have to now be going around the world looking for Ghanaian players that haven't even come to Ghana before to represent the women's national team. I can understand doing that for the men because we are trying to win the World Cup and whatever it is that we're trying to win. But you can't do that for women's football, because what it is that you are telling the players in my team that they will never be good enough. And so unless they have left Ghana and gone to play in Iceland or China or somewhere, they are never coming to play for the women's national team. And for me, it's a wrong message that we are sending. So we keep pretending that we are helping to grow football and women's football in Ghana, when rather we are doing everything that we can to drive the girls out of it. Every girl in my team wants to leave Ghana. And at the end of every season, if I can explain to them what I'll do for them to go and play in America or the UK, they're looking for the next team to leave. At the end of every season, we have to be begging players to sit down and wait, stay, because they've seen their friend has gone to play in Norway or somewhere.
Yes.
And they're asking me that, what am I doing for them? My team is not in Norway. My team is in Ghana. Why am I working hard to just send you off to go and work in another team?
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's I really respect your honesty, because I met two female footballers a few weeks ago. Jennifer Kujo. Yes. Yeah. And is it Cheyenne? The girl from Liverpool, the Liverpudlian.
Yeah.
And so I was really intrigued. I mean, I have seen Jennifer. I think she's in New York or in Brooklyn.
Yeah, Brooklyn.
Right? Yeah. And I mean, I'm desperate to speak to her as a player as well. But again, I know that she studied in the US, right?
Yeah.
I think she has an accounting degree or something like that. So she'd been in the US for quite some time. But I think her sister also used to play in Ghana, her older sister.
Yeah.
So was she, I don't know if you know about her background, but was she playing in, was Jennifer playing for local teams here in Ghana?
Yes. I know Jennifer a little bit. I think she was playing for Hazakas.
Okay.
And then she left. But I mean, those are good structures. Those are good foundations. And people like her always want to come back and support.
Right.
But now it feels like the system of women's football revolves around praying that a player will leave the country and go and be successful and then come back and help. Because a lot of the girls that have left the country and been successful, they always come back and help.
Okay.
And so it's a good thing that they are doing, but the message that it's sending is that unless I leave the country, I won't do well to even come and help you. And for me, yes, at this point in time that we are here having this conversation, the best a player can do for their career is to leave the country. But for people like me who own women's football clubs in Ghana that are trying to grow and be successful and be as big as Chelsea, it's not the best thing for me to... Fine, can I add something to this conversation since you want something?
We will continue.
But it's difficult for me to run a football club when it means that every season I have to go and look for another 11 or 22 or whatever it is. Because
doing the same thing.
Exactly. And it's a crazy system that is being built. And I feel like if we don't do something to keep the girls here, for example, trying to even place some of them in the national teams, then we are just on the wrong track. We are doing what the men are doing, and you cannot build women's football and by looking at what the men are doing. It's different. And the lies and the stories and the misconceptions that they tell the players. And so now women's football players are changing their ages, changing their names.
That thing.
Look, the clubs that I'm speaking to now and the doors that are trying to open for the players, they're not looking for children. They're looking for mature footballers. They're looking for girls that are 21 to 30.
But all of a sudden they're 17, 19.
Yeah. You have all these girls that are ready to play abroad and they look at their birth certificate and they are 14. And it's very difficult because obviously a white person may not be able to tell what a Ghanaian or a black 14-year-old player looks like.
Got it.
Unless you are super, super young, it's difficult for a foreigner to tell how young a girl is. But then you have all these girls that are grown enough to be my mother talking about their 14 years old. And for a club, it's difficult because if the girl is actually good, you can't even sell the club because she has to be 18 to leave. And so if you're a club out there and you're encouraging players to reduce their age, you're only setting yourself up for failure. Because the player may be the best player ever, but because you're trying to give her a longer chance, you say she's 14. She will be in your system till she's 18. And at that time, she's really 30. And how is she going to help you?
Perform.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So for me, one of the things that I tell a player, and I tell my players all the time, that I don't even want to hear you even thinking about changing your age, because we are speaking to clubs and we're trying to help you. And unfortunately, the ecosystem that we are in dictates that for the players that are really good, their career will probably be better if they left Ghana. And I'm not trying to ruin somebody's chance because I'm trying to grow and build my own women's football club. So I encourage the girls that are older and I tell them all the time that this is your time to shine. If you look at a lot of the international clubs out there, they are trying to sign players that are 22, 23, 25. And we have that age group. And then these girls are trying to change their ages to like 12, 13, 14 because they are being told that their chances are better if they are young. And it's just not true. In the men's football game, yes, I can understand that because some of the players are their peak at 18, 19, all of that. But women's football, it feels like you're at your peak when you're 25, 26. I was
going to ask, when is our peak?
Yeah, by that time, you've grown, you understand, you know. You don't need to do certain things that the young kids that run up and down, trying to score goals and stuff that you are matured. You are the backbone of the team.
Come on.
And that's what they are looking for. A lot of the clubs out there, when they come to Ghana, they are looking for strong, smart, quick girls, African girls, who can be the rock in their team.
Okay.
And then we have that in Ghana, and they can't even get access to you because somebody's lying to you and whispering in your ear that you should go and change your name, you should go and change your age. And it's crazy for me sometimes because even in the Women's Division 1 league that is local to just Greater Accra, people are so desperate to succeed in football that they are cheating, they are scamming, they are lying, they are bribing. Women's football in Ghana. Bribing, scamming, cheating, just to go and play in the Women's Premier League. The crazy thing is that the people in the Women's Premier League, some of them are trying to come the opposite direction because they've seen that women's football peaks at the Women's Premier League, unless you are lucky to be called to the national team or something like that. But it just feels like you play football in Ghana and then you hit a level and then there's nothing else to do than to just pray that some club somewhere comes to take you away. And we just don't have the structure for the players. Honestly, probably 70% of the girls that have left the country was by accident. It was because some agent came in and said, I'm looking for players to take to Albania. Do you have a striker? And then the player had one video and then they gave it to the agent and the agent was like, okay, come on, let's go.
You're kidding. Just like that.
You cannot tell me or ask anybody in women's football about how a player can play in a foreign league and there's a model, there's a structure. There's nothing like that. Everything is by accident. There's no structure, there's no plan. And that's how come some of the girls in football are just there. They don't know what to do with themselves. So we can be sitting here and planning all the leagues and the competitions that we want, but we're not thinking about the girls who are playing the league and how we can help them. Because if a girl is happy, if she's satisfied, if she's comfortable, or if she has a plan or a pathway, or she knows what's in store for her in 5 years, she'll not be doing certain things.
It's true.
Then they don't know what to do. They are so desperate. Every season, a player will show up in some team with a different name and different age. And that needs to stop.
That's messy.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, so we're going to do a quick fire.
Yeah.
Because we're wrapping up.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite footballer of all time.
Eden Hazard.
Favorite stadium you've ever set foot in. Girl, it is the Emirates.
That one I'll give it to you.
Thank you. Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Okay. Favorite Ghanaian food.
Kenke.
The match you'll never forget watching, whether it be physical or on TV.
I think it would be the Chelsea Champions League semi-finals against Barcelona when we came back and Fernando Torres scored that goal. Every year it comes on my Twitter or my X timeline, and I watch it over and over. You know, it's May. So, I mean, we just entered June. But in the month of May, we're celebrating winning the Champions League. And then Fernando Torres goes around the keeper and then scores. And then he gets down on his knees and he's like this.
It's as if you were there. Time
Every time I'm getting goosebumps even thinking about it.
We're moving on. The best advice you have ever received?
Just do it.
Nike.
Do it. Yeah, do it.
One word for success and then one word for home.
What's one word for don't quit?
Well, I'll take that. 2 words.
Yes. Don't quit.
I like that.
And then one word for what?
I'm home.
Support.
Nice.
Yeah.
What are Chelsea missing right now?
Better ownership. That is the thing. I think it's the ownership, because ultimately it's the owners of the club who are making certain decisions that's affecting the players.
Thank you so much. This has been so much fun. Really, really appreciate your love and your dedication to Ridge City. And I pray that it goes from success to success. I'm really intrigued. So maybe we'll talk behind the scenes. But I'm really excited.
And I'm looking forward to coming back next year with a big story about how amazing our year was, and about how talking to you and talking to the world shed so much light on the club that now we're on a different level.
Amen.
I really appreciate being here today, and I'm looking forward to seeing things move and coming back to share that story with you.
Wonderful. We look forward to it. Thank you so much, Cleopatra.
Thank you.
Thank you.